Every international traveler who lands at YVR gets a close-up view of the culture of the Coast Salish people, in whose territory they've arrived. They have to pass by a giant spindle whorl to get to customs. The spindle whorl is central to Coast Salish culture and to the art of Susan Point.
The spindle whorl was a traditional tool that was used by the Salish women to spin wool into yarn. And a lot of the discs themselves, which is called the spindle whorl, had intricate designs either on one side or both sides of the piece. The spindle whorl is important to me because I like the form itself, the circle. It's continuous. It reminds me of the circle of life. It's got a lot of meaning behind it, you know.
She started out doing traditional Coast Salish design, but she's constantly evolving.
So I've changed drastically from traditional to contemporary, very contemporary art, but I always stay within the Coast Salish art style using the Salish forms, the elements, which are crescents, wedges, V-cuts.
She tries different mediums.
A lot of the designs I do can be transferred into various mediums, glass, wood, metal, whatever I'm using, maybe with a little bit of modification.
Case in point is her gateway project at Cambion Marine, which started out as an idea for the Vancouver 2010 Winter Games that didn't work out.
So I set it aside and thought to myself, well, there's always a future use for it. So using the cauldron, I turned it into a basket. It has a lid that goes on top and a spindle whorl in the center. 4 of these baskets were cast in concrete, and the lids I did in bronze. The imagery on these lids comes from this area: the people, the paddles, the salmon, and the berries. I love doing public art pieces because it sets our Salish footprint on our lands.
Something else she loves is perfection.
I'm very fussy. I'm very finicky, very finicky. Everything has to be perfect. My lines have to be right. Perfection takes a long time. I mean, if you want to have it done in a matter of, say, a month, go for it. But if you want to take 3 months to do it, to make it perfect, I would go for the 3 months.
Susan's projects can take years.
For instance, working on the gateways for Stanley Park, that took me almost 5 years to create.
And this 14-foot tall piece called Fusion took months of planning.
When creating large-scale public art commissions, I firstly start from a very rough sketch and then go into a paper maquette, and then from there into the actual material itself. From drawing to the actual maquette itself took approximately 6 months.
Her kids grew up watching her work, and now they're working with her.
My oldest son, Brent, Rhea, Thomas, and Kelly, all artists. They're all really good. And not only that, I have my grandchildren who are upcoming, and they are getting good as well. A lifetime achievement to me is, you know, passing all of this, all of my knowledge onto my children, my 4 children, and not only them, but to my grandchildren as well.
Right now, they're working on spindle whorls for Susan's Vancouver Art Gallery show coming up in February.
This is a carved piece that I just finished recently, which entails 4 frogs. And within the frog's eyes, I incorporated glass, and behind the glass are carved and painted pupils.
Susan's life is all about the work.
I never have a moment where I'm not doing something, creating.
And she'd rather work than talk about it.
I have a lot of work to do. Are we done yet? Is that my stop? That's it.